Good morning. This is the day that the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. Today is Thursday, July the 20th, and I'm having to take the day off, at least the morning off, because I've got to get a golf cart to the shop. So I'm on my way to a friend's home, one of the guys that goes to my church, who is a friend, and I'm gonna borrow his trailer. I've had trailers before. I've owned 2 or 3 trailers so that I have something to haul my motorcycle. But I'm bad about if it ain't tied down, I'll sell it. I'll sell it. I'll sell it in a heartbeat. Hey, you want to sell that trailer? Yeah. I need to get me another trailer and make up my mind that it's mine for the rest of my life. So anyway, I'm on my way to get that trailer. Sometimes things in life happen that we really question and wonder why. Why is this happening? You know, what's going on? I always go back when I'm going through something. I always go back to Romans 8:28. Romans 8:28 says, "Now we know that all things work together for good to them that love God and to them that are called according to his purpose." And that's my go-to. Now, it doesn't mean that all things in life are good. Bad things in life happen. But it does mean that what God does is God takes all the ingredients of life, the sweet things, the bitter things, the savory things, the sour things, and he puts them all together. All things work together. He puts them all together to make something really delicious out of it. It's kind of like the ingredients of a cake. Some of the ingredients on their own are not edible. They're not palatable. They're not something that you would want to eat. But you put them together. You mix them together. My wife makes cakes. You put them together, you got something. You got to trust God to put things together in your life and let something good come from it. Now we know all things work together for good to them that love God, to them that are called according to his purpose. Can I get an amen? This is where I come to feed my addiction for Diet Pepsi or Diet Coke. All right, I got my fix. This Diet Coke don't taste right. It's not flat. It's just not as, it don't have as much bite to it as it should have. It's almost flat. Backup camera. on the drive home to pick up the golf cart, this truck ran hot. I just quoted Romans 8:28. All things work together for good to them that love God. Well, I stopped and put a gallon of 50-50 coolant water in it, and it cooled right down. It's been a long time since this truck is way, let me say it like this, this truck is way past due for an oil change. And I'm pretty certain that the way the coolant fluctuates in and out, releases pressure, all that stuff, that the problem is that I was just low in coolant. I had the same situation with my wife's Explorer. We've always been really good about changing oil on time, but here this year, we've dropped the ball. We dropped the ball on that. And this truck, for the most part, this year has just sat. I've been riding Black Beauty. I've been riding my motorcycle as much as humanly possible just to save money on gas. So this truck has sat a lot. So I did go home with the trailer, and I dropped the trailer, and now I'm on my way back into town to get an oil change. All things work together for good to those that love God and are called according to His purpose. I've driven probably a total of 8 or 9 miles since I added the coolant, and so far the temp is holding steady where it's supposed to be. So, but when I was at the store adding the coolant, my truck was making horrible noises. This truck was making, it sounded like maybe one of the pulley wheels or something was, you know, it sounded bad. But by the time I got home, that sound, the truck was running cool and that sound had gone away. I'm not a mechanic. All I know is I got to load up that trailer back up, put a golf cart on it, and drive about 45 miles one way to drop the golf cart off at the repair shop. I'm not feeling real confident. I don't have any other way to do it. I don't have to do it today. I promised my wife I would do it today. So let's go get that oil change. This is the longest oil change I've ever had, but one thing I can say about this place is they're thorough. And if I had bought everything and done everything they suggested to me, this $60 oil change would be about $360. And I told the guy, I said, you know, I understand you got to show me that stuff, but today all I want is an oil change. And I want that coolant checked. And he said they checked it, but I asked him to check it again. Started up the truck to add coolant, and it started making a horrible noise. He said it was the water pump. So when they had me start the truck, first of all, they gave me a receipt, said my coolant was okay. I asked the guy, I said, did you guys check the coolant? Because I was kind of watching and I didn't see that happen. He said, yes, sir, we check all the fluids. And so I asked him to check it again, just for peace of mind. He checked it again. He wound up adding about 1.5 gallons of coolant. They had not checked the coolant. Had me start the truck while he was adding the coolant, and this truck started making the most horrible noise from under the hood. It's not making it now. He said it was the water pump. Now I don't know. It's not making that noise now. It made that noise when he started it up and he was adding the coolant. It started making that noise. So apparently my water pump is about to go out. He told me my battery was bad. My battery tested bad. Now my battery I've never even had a slow start on this truck. It fires right up. But he said that my battery tested bad and that I needed a new battery, which I told him he wanted to know if I wanted to. He had one 3-year warranty, $219, which is not a bad price. Not a bad price. But I didn't go. I wasn't prepared for all of that. So now I got to start figuring out what to do about my water pump. If in fact that's what it is. But I think I concur with theirs. Not a mechanic, but it's the only thing that makes sense. I thought when I first heard it that maybe it was a pulley, a bearing and a pulley going bad. I don't know. I do know this. Boy, isn't it curious that I started this video off with Romans 8:28? God takes all the things in our life and he puts them together and he makes something good come out of them. All things, now we know that all things work together for good to them that love God and them are called according to his purpose. And the truck ran hot. First I got there and the guy had not unlocked his trailer and I thought he was going to work. And then the truck ran hot and then I went to get the oil changed and it started making this horrible noise. And I've got 2 air conditioners in my house, room air conditioners that we use, floor air conditioners in our bedrooms. 2 air conditioners that are giving me issues. The water in the refrigerator door stopped giving us water a couple of days ago, and I changed the filter. That's the only thing that I could do. I changed the filter. It didn't solve the problem, and it just seems like everything is breaking. Everything's breaking. All things work together for good to those who love God and are called according to his purpose. So I stopped by and saw my mechanic, or one of the mechanics that I use, and so the truck wasn't making the noise while I was there, of course. But he said that if I could bring it in one day and leave it with him so it could cool down, where he could feel of it, and determine if in fact the water pump is bad. Then he said, I asked him, and he said the water pump was like $160. And that was at the auto parts store right next door to him. And he said he thought the labor was about $120. So what's that? $270, give or take. All things work together for good to them that love God and to them who are called according to his purpose. Then Felicia had asked me to bring her a Diet Sunkist home, and I got almost all the way home and realized that I had forgotten that Diet Sunkist. And so I have turned around. I'm going back into town to the store, to the gas station, to get her a Diet Sunkist. All things work together for good to them that love God and are called according to his purpose. Amen. Things that a man will do for his woman. Speaking of ladies, I was a lady there at the air pump. I thought she was by herself. fixing to back up, see if I could help her. Older lady. But just about the time I was about to back up, a man's head popped up. Gotta go home, give Felicia her sun-kissed, load the trailer back up. I'm gonna take a chance. I'm gonna drive this truck with the trailer behind it, with the golf cart on it, 45 miles to the golf cart repair place. Hopefully, if my water pump's going bad, it'll hold up for that trip. Then I can take it to the guy another day, tomorrow, leave it with him so that he can check it out. All right, I've got the golf cart loaded up. I'm driving my truck. I'm praying that I don't have any issues. I do smell coolant, you know, like a vehicle's running hot when I get out of it, but I don't know that that's not from when I put coolant in it earlier and some sprayed out and some spilt, and I don't know. So I got about a 45 mile drive to this golf cart place. Here we go. Well, I dropped off the golf cart. I forgot to shoot any video, but the golf cart belongs to my father-in-law. He keeps adding fluid to them. The batteries are only like a year old. But the guy at the shop said that his charger it's not the original charger. He had the original charger, but it quit functioning, and he had the original charger. Somebody, I don't know if Felicia did it, if he did it, if his friend that helps him work on stuff did it. They ordered a eBay knockoff charger. The guy at the shop told me that those chargers do not cut off like they're supposed to when the batteries are fully charged. And what happens is they build up gas in the batteries because they're still trying to charge it, and the gas escapes. The fluid turns to gas, the gas escapes, the batteries dry out. So it's very possible that that's the culprit. And even though his batteries are only about a year old, his batteries could very well be ruined, because once you run them dry, he said, the cells start dying in them. So my father-in-law may be in bad shape with this golf cart. He said, give him 2 or 3 weeks. We'll see.